Welcome to our viewers around the world. Today, we focus on the United Kingdom as we explore its economy from 2010 to 2023 in this documentary, Debt and Despair. The Economic Stagnation of the UK, 2010 to 2023. We examine the root causes of the UK's economic stagnation and ask the hard questions. Over 13 years, the once great nation saw its economy decline, leading to increased hardships and a poorer population. However, the people and government of the UK are resilient, and we believe in their ability to recover. We remain hopeful for their future. Our mission is nonpartisan, to inform, educate, and offer actionable recommendations. If you find value in this, please like, share, and subscribe to support our work.
The learning objectives are on your screen. We begin with an overview of the geography, political parties, and leadership of the United Kingdom. Next, we examine the economy during the periods from 1997 to 2007, 2007 to 2010, and 2010 to 2023. We analyse the UK's economic performance, comparing it with the United States and Germany using GDP per capita and overall nominal GDP. We investigate the causes behind the economic stagnation in the UK from 2010 to 2023 and explore potential paths forward for improving the economy in 2024 and beyond. The United Kingdom, located in Western Europe, has a population of approximately 68 million people as of 2023. The life expectancy at birth is 82 years. In comparison, the United States life expectancy at birth is 77 years. There are two dominant political parties in the UK, a Labour Party that won elections earlier this year, 2024, led by Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The Labour Party prioritises wealth redistribution, public sector investment, and robust social welfare to promote economic equity and growth. The other dominant party is the Conservative Party, also known as the Tories. The party is led by Kemi Badenoch. The party focuses on a market-driven approach with lower taxes and reduced public spending. The Conservative Party was in power from 2010 to 2024. Rishi Sunak of the Conservative Party was Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from October 2022 to July 2024. He was preceded by the following Prime Ministers, all members of the Conservative Party: Elizabeth Truss, who was in office between September 2022 to October 2022. Boris Johnson from 2019 to 2022. Theresa May from 2016 to 2019, and David Cameron from 2010 to 2016. The focus of our documentary is the economy of the United Kingdom during the 14-year period from 2010 to 2024, when the country was led by the Conservative Party. For historical context, we will first examine the UK economy during the 13-year period from 1997 to 2010, under the leadership of the Labour Party. During this time, Tony Blair served as Prime Minister from 1997 to 2007. He was succeeded by Prime Minister Gordon Brown, also of the Labour Party, from 2007 to 2010. The administration of Tony Blair oversaw a period of remarkable economic growth, with GDP per capita rising from $26,766 in 1997 to $50,397 in 2007, representing an 88% absolute increase in GDP per capita. No subsequent UK government has been able to replicate this level of sustained GDP growth. During the administration of Prime Minister Gordon Brown of the Labour Party, the GDP per capita of the United Kingdom fell from a high of $50,397 to a low of $38,744 in 2009. By the time Prime Minister Gordon Brown left office in 2010, the GDP per capita was $39,599. Overall, his administration saw a decline of the GDP per capita from $50,397 to $39,599, signifying an absolute decrease of 21%. Due to a declining economy under the Labour government of Gordon Brown, the Conservative Party, led by David Cameron, was elected to lead the United Kingdom. He served from 2010 to 2016. In 2010, the GDP per capita increased from $39,599 to a high of $47,439 in 2014. At the end of the David Cameron administration in 2016, the GDP per capita was $40,985. Over the course of 6 years in office serving as Prime Minister, the GDP per capita increased by 3.5%. This was an early warning sign that there were economic troubles ahead for the UK. The Conservative Party has faced significant leadership challenges leading to political instability and frequent leadership changes. Since 2010, the UK has had 5 Prime Ministers: Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, Boris Johnson, Theresa May and David Cameron, who succeeded Gordon Brown. These rapid leadership transitions have contributed to uncertainty and challenges in implementing consistent long-term economic policies. The leaders are pictured on your screen. During the 14-year period from 2010 to 2024, when the Conservative Party was in power in the UK, we have complete data on GDP per capita from 2010 to 2023. Over this period, GDP per capita increased from $39,599 in 2010 to $48,866 in 2023, marking an absolute percent increase of 23.4%. Notably, as of 2023, the GDP per capita of $50,397 reported in 2007 during Tony Blair's Labour administration has not been surpassed. On your screen is a graph comparing GDP per capita in the United States and the United Kingdom. The graphs begin to diverge in 2008 during the global financial crisis and reach their widest gap by 2023. On your screen is a detailed graph comparing the GDP per capita of the United States and the UK. Between 2010 and 2023, a 13-year period, the US saw an absolute percent increase in GDP per capita of 67%, while the UK experienced a 23% increase over the same period. This represents an almost threefold greater increase in the US compared to the UK, suggesting that the US has managed its economy more effectively. We explore the reasons behind this gap later in this documentary. Let us examine another parameter, GDP. The UK increased its GDP from $2.49 trillion to $3.34 trillion between 2010 and 2023. This represented an absolute percent increase of 34% in this 13-year period when the country was led by the Conservative government. In the same 13-year period between 2010 and 2023, Germany, a country with the highest GDP in Europe, increased its GDP from $3.4 trillion to $4.46 trillion, signifying a modest absolute percent increase in GDP by 31%. In the same 13-year period between 2010 and 2023, the United States increased its GDP from $15.05 trillion to $27.36 trillion, an absolute percent increase in GDP of 81%, a remarkable achievement by the United States. During this period, the presidents of the United States were Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and George W. Bush. Using its peak GDP of $3.09 trillion in 2007 as a benchmark, the UK's economy required 14 years to surpass this level, finally reaching $3.14 trillion in 2021. This represented a mere 1.6% absolute increase over 14 years, emphasizing a period marked by significant economic stagnation. Such minimal growth reflects a variety of challenges, including the aftermath of the 2008 global financial crisis, political instability, and the economic impacts of Brexit. This prolonged stagnation highlights the pressing need for strategic policy changes to stimulate sustainable economic growth. Herein lies the key question. How did the UK mismanage its economy so severely between 2010 and 2023, and what are the next steps for recovery? Understanding the factors behind this economic decline is crucial for identifying the path forward. Only by addressing the underlying issues can the UK hope to restore stability, foster growth, and ensure a more prosperous future for its citizens. The answers lie in examining both past mistakes and potential strategies for reform. The key reasons that may account for the economic challenges and mismanagement of the economy of the UK are listed on your screen. We shall address them individually. Political instability, leading to a loss of market confidence, likely ranks as a key reason for the mismanagement of the UK economy. Between 2010 and 2023, the UK had 5 prime ministers, each with different levels of experience and inconsistent economic policies. This lack of continuity and clear direction contributed to economic uncertainty, making it difficult to implement long-term strategies for growth and stability during this period, as reflected in the country's sluggish economic performance. The Conservative-led government's focus on reducing the budget deficit after the 2008 financial crisis led to severe austerity measures. These included significant cuts to public spending, welfare programs, and local government funding. While this helped reduce the deficit, it stunted economic growth and weakened public services, creating long-term structural issues such as strained healthcare and social care systems. The emphasis on fiscal tightening limited the UK's ability to invest in infrastructure and productivity-enhancing initiatives. The UK experienced a period of weak productivity growth, lagging behind other advanced economies like the United States. Despite higher employment levels, output per worker remained stagnant, limiting GDP growth and wage increases. Insufficient investment in technology, skills training, and infrastructure hindered efforts to improve long-term economic efficiency. This lack of focus on productivity ultimately held back the UK's potential for sustainable growth and competitiveness in the global economy. The Brexit referendum in 2016 and the subsequent withdrawal from the EU created prolonged economic uncertainty. Business investment was dampened due to unclear future trade arrangements, affecting growth prospects. The eventual departure from the EU's single market and customs union disrupted trade flows, supply chains, and labour mobility, impacting industries reliant on EU markets and skilled EU labour. Brexit also caused shifting policies, political upheavals, and leadership changes, undermining the government's ability to implement consistent, long-term economic strategies. These policy inconsistencies eroded investor confidence and created a more unpredictable business environment, making it harder for companies to plan for the future and for the economy to gain stability and growth. The COVID pandemic between 2019 and 2022 dealt a severe blow to the UK economy, causing a historic contraction in GDP and necessitating significant government spending to support businesses and individuals. While emergency measures like the furlough scheme were praised, the economic shock added to public debt and disrupted economic activity. Recovery efforts were uneven, with inflationary pressures emerging as demand rebounded and supply chain issues persisted. Inflationary pressures and a cost of living crisis took a toll on the UK economy. Global supply chain disruptions, worsened by the Russia-Ukraine war, caused energy and food prices to surge, driving inflation. The UK was hit particularly hard due to its reliance on energy imports and vulnerabilities in food supply chains. Rising prices reduced real incomes and consumer spending, while policy responses such as interest rate hikes by the Bank of England aimed at curbing inflation further strained economic growth. The UK's economic structure was misaligned, with significant policy gaps. A heavy reliance on the services sector, particularly finance, made the economy vulnerable to external shocks. Meanwhile, manufacturing and other productive sectors were underdeveloped. Efforts by the government to diversify the economy and invest in growth areas such as technology and green energy were insufficient, leaving the UK exposed to economic challenges and limiting its potential for long-term sustainable growth. Public services in the country, already weakened by earlier austerity measures, struggled to cope with rising demands during the pandemic and afterward. Underfunding of critical areas like healthcare and social care put pressure on the economy by affecting workforce productivity and social stability. In summary, mismanagement between 2010 and 2023 stemmed from a combination of stringent austerity, Brexit-related economic upheaval, weak productivity growth, global crises like the pandemic and inflation surges, and inconsistent policies. While efforts to control debt and spending were made, the lack of robust long-term investments and strategic planning limited the UK's ability to achieve sustainable economic growth. The key recommendations by the Labour government of Keir Starmer to grow the economy from 2024 and beyond are on your screen. We shall address each one in detail. Increase spending on health and education. Labour aims to reverse the effects of austerity by investing more in public services, particularly healthcare and education. This would not only address the capacity and quality issues in the NHS and schools, but also improve workforce productivity by ensuring a healthier and better educated population. Green energy and infrastructure projects. A strong focus on green initiatives would help modernise the UK economy, align with climate goals, and create jobs. Investing in renewable energy projects, retrofitting homes for energy efficiency, and building modern infrastructure would stimulate economic activity and support long-term growth. Boost productivity and skills development. Labour has proposed measures to enhance productivity through increased funding for skills training, apprenticeships, and technological innovation. This would involve partnerships between government, educational institutions, and businesses to ensure that the workforce is equipped for high-skill, high-wage jobs. Industrial strategy. Labour is expected to emphasise industrial policy that supports key growth sectors such as technology, manufacturing, and green industries. This strategic approach would aim to diversify the economy and reduce over-reliance on the financial sector. Repair relations with the EU and strengthen trade. Labour would seek to rebuild economic and trade relationships with the European Union, improving market access and fostering smoother supply chains. This would be part of a broader effort to mitigate some of the negative impacts of Brexit and reinvigorate trade ties. Global partnerships and investment attraction. Alongside improving EU relations, Labour would work to attract international investment and foster partnerships that can support UK businesses and bolster exports. The Conservative response to Keir Starmer's Labour policies has largely focused on fiscal restraint, opposing higher taxes and increased public spending. They have emphasised market-driven solutions, deregulation, and national sovereignty, particularly on issues like Brexit and immigration. The Conservatives have criticised Labour's ambitious public investment plans, arguing they would increase national debt, and have taken a more gradual approach to climate change, focusing on energy security and economic growth rather than aggressive green initiatives. From 2024 onwards, the UK economy faces mixed prospects. The World Bank and IMF project modest growth, but caution that risks, including inflation, global economic slowdown, and Brexit-related trade impacts, remain. Strengthening public investment, productivity, and trade partnerships will be crucial. Shifting policies towards sustainable energy and technological innovation could support growth, while managing public debt and social spending remains essential for stability. No political party holds all the answers to these economic challenges. The UK remains a productivity powerhouse with the second highest GDP in Europe. Blaming any one political party for the issues of the 2010 to 2024 period would be counterproductive, as Germany, Europe's leading economy, faced similar challenges, indicating a broader economic crisis across the continent. For the sake of future generations, we wish the UK well as it seeks to restore and strengthen its economy. The learning objectives on your screen have been met. Thank you for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This has been a presentation of Apomulero Media LLC. By subscribing, you ensure you don't miss out on our future videos that delve into fascinating topics from around the world.